Welcome to Guelph, try the chicken. Hey friends, it's your good friend Tim Campbell-Smith, and today we are talking about what new University of Guelph students should know, or maybe any University of Guelph student should know, about the city of Guelph. Going to any new city, and especially like living there, and especially for post-secondary, can be overwhelming, it can be daunting, there can be so much to know. And I know, most universities, especially with their own dedicated campus, kind of seclude you from the rest of the city. Guelph is no different on this. And you can really make the most of your experience when you explore other parts of the city. But I've also, as someone who's like a native, like Guelphite, born, raised in Guelph, keep leaving, keep coming back. I've seen the way university students interact with the city and don't interact with the city. And based on this, I have a lot of advice. Before we go too far, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, business, mental health, and life. Let's get into it because I have a lot to say on a lot of different things, and we are going to start with probably the most painful one, but the one that you need to know the most about, which is the transit system. One, at the time of recording, because bus routes may change, but at the time of recording, the 99 bus line is the bus that runs north-south through the entire city. So the university is on the southern side of the city. So you can go south. It'll only take about 10 to 15 minutes to get to almost the southernmost part of the city. If you want to go north, and you want to go as far north as possible, which is Walmart at the north end of the city, then you're looking at, I don't know, maybe a 25, 30, 35 minute bus ride. But it is the most direct way to get north-south through the city. And at the south end, at the north end, those are kind of arterial, so they can get you to other places. All of that to say, learn the 99 bus line, where it goes and how often it goes. I think it's on a 10-minute system, so it's a little bit faster. Most of the city is usually working on a 30-minute system, where a bus comes every 30 minutes. Sunday hours are reduced, but the 99 is the most frequent bus line. Next, speaking of transit, if you are traveling on transit Monday through Friday between, I'd say, 7:30 a.m. for 8 a.m. or 8:30 classes to 5 p.m., give yourself extra time, especially when coming from the university or trying to get into the university, because those university buses, the buses that especially feed into the university, tend to get full, especially the closer to the university you are. It is not uncommon, it is not unheard of for a bus to just go by you with the sign, "Sorry, bus full." So give yourself extra wiggle room and extra time to get on that bus, to get that bus to school. A tip, and this is definitely adding time to your commute if you don't want to walk or whatever, consider getting on the bus in the opposite direction. So if, say you get on the Courtright bus, because the Courtright bus does feed into the university, consider getting on the bus. Usually, it's usually on one side of the street going one way, on the other side of the street going the other way. Get on the bus on the other side of the street that will do more of the full route before coming back to the university. Yes, it will add commute time, but then you're more likely to actually have your spot on the bus. The other important thing to know about transit is that generally drivers will put up with less, I'm going to nicely call it, nonsense from those who look like students late at night, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So if you're on the bus between 9 p.m. and whenever it stops running on a Thursday, a Friday, or a Saturday night, they may be a little colder. They may not be as friendly. They may be just scrutinizing everything a little bit more. Don't be a jerk. Something we're gonna talk about in another category is how Guelph transit drivers, some Guelph folks, just generally don't like the university students and don't put up with nonsense from university students. So be a good human when you're on the bus, especially late at night on a Thursday, a Friday, or a Saturday night. Because it is not uncommon on transit for a bus driver to stop the bus, to kick everybody off the bus, to kick certain folks off the bus, and disrupt everybody's night. And remember, you're not, as students, you're not the only ones riding the bus. People going to or from work, everyday citizens are also on that bus, and you're disrupting them. So generally, on transit and in life, Be a good human. Next, let's talk about coffee shops and cafes in the area, because there are some things you need to know. Any coffee shop or cafe, and I'm checking my notes here, within a 25-minute walking distance or directly on a bus route that feeds into the university is usually going to be packed. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. on the early side, 10 a.m. typically, to whenever they close, or around 7 or 8 p.m. They're all going to be packed. If you're going to a coffee shop or a cafe that feeds into the university or is on a bus route or is within walking distance, it's always going to be packed while school is in session. So pick your cafes carefully. Don't expect a table. Maybe be prepared to wait, especially if you have more than 2 people in a group. What are the coffee shops? Coffee shops you should know. Now I'm going to read off my list to make sure I don't miss any. But at the time of recording, we have Cavan Coffee, we have Centurion, those are both on Gordon, Second Cup, which is across from the university, Williams, which is by Stone Road Mall, the Starbucks that's by Stone Road Mall, and then there are coffee shops and cafes downtown and a lot of university students go to. So Balzac's, just be careful, the tables at Balzac's are so tiny. Guildsman, there is another Starbucks, not as many tables there, or Red Brick Cafe. Something you need to know about the coffee shops and the cafes in Guelph, though, I don't know if this is unique to Guelph, so if anyone's been to like a university anywhere else, please let me know, and I'll comment later on about Brantford. But most coffee shops do not have outlets. There are not a lot of outlets at like any of the cafes or coffee shops in Guelph. So when you go, make sure that your like devices and your especially your laptop is charged, because it is highly unlikely that you'll get a spot with an outlet. Next on your list of things you should know about Guelph, let's talk about the seasonality of the city. In the summer and fall in Guelph, there's a lot to do. A lot of people are not in the city for the summer, so in the fall, yes, there's a lot to do. Spring, there are definitely some things, and there are more and more things that happen as spring progresses and into summer. The problem is, just like summer, most people are either like deep in exam season or leaving, so you kind of miss out on that. But if you're around for spring, there's definitely things in the spring. All of that to say, there's not a lot to do in the winter. Guelph does not do a fabulous job when it comes to things to do in the winter. So this would be a good time, like, you know, hope that there's good movies out, or like buckle down at school, find things to do at school with friends, because throughout the city and within the city, there isn't as much to do during the winter. Homecoming. Let's talk about things you should know about homecoming. 1, generally, homecoming makes Guelphites nervous or upset. Just the act of having homecoming makes them nervous, makes them upset. So, for the last, oh my God, 4 or 5 years, like pre-pandemic, post-pandemic as well, every year the police have doubled down and gotten stricter and stricter, and the mayor has become more and more vocal about his thoughts and feelings and opinions about homecoming. Guelph residents have. So just like with Guelph Transit, just like in life, be a good human. Generally speaking, the city and its residents have been hating on homecoming more and more every year, which means that there are more penalties, there's more enforcement, there's more fines, there's more crackdowns. It's funny that, like, even being associated with homecoming can get you in trouble. I have friends who have gone to homecoming, and they were around, like, when the police were getting involved, and they were just taking names. So you gotta be careful associating with homecoming and what you get involved with homecoming, especially with large crowds. Here's my tip, actually, though, to make the most of homecoming and still have a great time. Don't go where the massive crowds are. So, like, avoid Old University, avoid the stadium, avoid where there are set parties. Go other places. Get creative with where you celebrate and observe homecoming, because then you'll almost have no problems. And just be careful with what you do in public. And by public, I literally mean anything outside of a house. So, like, don't be tipping over cars, don't be knocking down mailboxes, don't be setting fires in the street.
Which is not hypothetical, that has happened.
Watch what you do in public. Try and be in a private place, ideally away from where there are other large groups and known homecoming activities. Next, let's talk about bars. Let's talk about the bar situation in Guelph. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but Trappers is gross. If you have friends who say, let's go to Trappers, I want you to lower the bar on your expectations. Next, and this is gonna sound weird, but take it from an old hag like me, Pack good walking shoes. Have good walking shoes. Lots of people try to avoid paying for Ubers. Sometimes if the buses have stopped, and they will try to walk the hill, Gordon, between the university and downtown and where the bars are. This road in the winter gets notoriously slippery, and it's funny because I actually know people who are nurses and doctors in the ER at Guelph General Hospital, and they say famously every winter they get students who have been drinking and walked the hill and fell and hurt themselves because they were walking in high heels or really fancy shoes, especially for the guys that have like no tread, no traction on the bottom. Pack good walking shoes. I totally get not wanting to Uber, not trying, if the bus isn't available and walking the Gordon Hill from the university to downtown, but like pack good walking shoes. And ideally, pay for coat check. If you're paying to go to a bar, pay for the coat check. Take a coat. Speaking of the Ubers and taxis in Guelph are super unreliable. Like, it can be really inconsistent when you can get them, how long it takes, how much they charge. So just be careful. The taxi system can be pretty unreliable. And finally, just like there's a rising hate from city residents, from law enforcement, from transit around homecoming, so too is there hate for and disdain, for students downtown. Again, be a good citizen. Use the bathroom in the bar. There's more and more and different efforts happening each year around downtown. So I know there's more porta potties. There's more like public bathrooms available. Use those public bathrooms. Like, peeing in the street does not look good on anybody. Watch your conduct downtown. It's interesting that there's kind of this like disdain or this dislike for people experiencing homelessness, people experiencing like addiction to drugs downtown. But when it comes to like nighttime, Wednesday through Saturday night, most people just assume all the problems come from university students, especially when it comes to violence or public urination. So again, be a good human. Watch your behaviors downtown. Okay, and finally, I have some just random tips that don't fit into any categories from someone who knows Guelph well. Number one, Metro has historically been like the closest grocery store to the university. Now there's a Walmart. Go to the Walmart, don't go to Metro. Metro is notoriously the most expensive grocery store in the city, and we have a Longo's. Longo's is notoriously expensive. Metro is just as expensive, and the quality of products is not always great. So resist the urge to go to Metro for your groceries. It's super expensive. The variety is not even that great. Go to Walmart. And now Walmart's actually a little bit closer to the university. Next, get off campus. Go see the city. So many folks just hover around campus or within, I'd say like a 3 to 4 kilometer radius, which includes like Stonewood Mall. Go see more of the city than just the campus or Stonewood Mall. Guelph has so many different activities, so many different groups all over the city. Yes, you will have to figure out the bus system, but if you can venture out to the West End or to the East End, you'll find some cool different community groups and events and organizations. Go see the city. Finally, a lot, and I mean a lot, of businesses offer student discounts and especially student promos in the beginning of September. Do not take these. We as a city recognize that we are a university town, that the ebb and flow of students largely impacts the city, how people move, businesses, money, economics, everything. And a lot of people try to capitalize, a lot of businesses capitalize on students coming in September. Don't take those discounts. Don't take those offers. Don't take those promos right away. Be very selective with which ones you take. Because it's very common that in your first year, your first 2 to 3 weeks of university are the most expensive time of your entire university career. You're paying for supplies, you're getting food, you're learning about resources that are available or different like businesses around. Also, if you got OSAP, if you got funding, if you got loans or whatever, you have access to all this money, sometimes even for the first time, and it's so enticing to go buy everything. Don't. Here's my tip instead. When those businesses offer student discounts or student promos, sign up for their emails. So follow them on social media to see what else they offer through the year, because they typically offer other things through the year. Or you can go to them and say like, hey, I'm a student. Do you have any specials? Do you have any discounts? And they will offer it to you there. So don't jump on those promotions and those offers just in the first few weeks, because every business under the sun is offering them. And that's what you need to know about the city of Guelph if you're new or coming to the University of Guelph. I think all of this can say, like, a lot of this can be summarized as, like, be a good human, watch who you associate with, where you associate with, how you spend your time, and how you spend your money. Comment and let me know any questions that you have about the city of Guelph. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, mental health, business, and life. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye for now.